It's about that time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of City Views. I'm Jacques Williams, your host. And before we get started, we want to give some big props to our sponsor, Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street. Better protection, better value. And if you want to know why I have this gleam in my eye for today's show, it's because we're taking a little glance at the future. That's right. I got two of Torrington High School's finest here on the show this day for you. I got Tyler Campanelli and Madej Fayar. And he's definitely on fire, okay? These two gentlemen are making us proud here in the arts and culture community because we know that we got some real good talent coming up through the ranks that we're really looking forward and ready to support. So without further ado, gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
I got the call from our producer, Dan Morrison, and he's like, man, we got to get these two cats on the show, man. So he's like running around with his hair on fire trying to get this book, man. So we got you here today. So if we keep you for a while, I hope you don't mind.
You're all good.
Now, Dan was really excited for us to get together with you guys because you just did some really cool work focusing on your school, Torrington High School, and exhibiting a little school pride. Talk to our audience a little bit about how this project came together.
See, the project came together as a theater production class. Me and Tyler met there, and then we heard about Fox Season 1 Student News having a contest. And then, you know what? Let's get it. Let's do it. I've done a project for like several months. It took us about almost 3.5 months to do that. To get an interview on, you know, like the shot and everything, get it right, editing. And then I have it taught that, you know what? Let's post it on Instagram. Let's see what people see in us. And then here we are.
So it seems as if social media is playing a very positive role in what you guys are doing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tyler, talk to our audience a little bit about what drives you in this pursuit, and share with us what your plans are in terms of how you're going to develop this into your career goals.
Well, I for the last like few months, I've been kind of thinking about what I want to major in for college, and I've been thinking about like computer science. And I figured I'd take like some computer courses. So me and Mate took intro to video production. And it was originally just supposed to be like basic video editing skills, etc. But then our teacher found out about this Fox 61 student news story contest. So that's kind of what the class turned into, was just getting our big videos done for that. And I think it really did kind of help. Like when we were done, when Mate posted it to social media, even our guidance counselors have a Instagram page, and they post it on their Instagram. They just kind of kept blowing up all over town. And I was like, this is not what I thought this video was going to be. Like, I just thought I was just doing it for a grade, but it turned into much more than that.
Yep.
Well, Made, you seem to be very enthusiastic about this. And it seems to me that you had probably some prior designs on something like this.
Yeah, I did like a couple editing, like a vlog, you know, like a regular editing I did, and then mostly I learned from YouTube, and shout out to Miss Laura for teaching us that, you know, the basic skill, you know, and then for giving us the opportunity to get the Fox Season 1 Student News contest, you know, and then get us here now. It was a small part that I did as a video. It was first was a hobby, and then turned into this project.
So do you possibly see a future in continuing to develop these types of projects?
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
What side interests you the most right now in production?
It's the mostly everything, like the editing, the the action, mostly, get in front of the camera, and then that make people happy, see the what's going on in the world, like that, mostly like that. But in my dream, I just want to make a movie. That's my vision. I just want to make a movie. That's it.
Tyler, do you see any possible links between developing your skills as a videographer slash filmmaker in what your current career plans are?
Um, I think so. How our school kind of handles our computer classes is we get like free memberships to Adobe Creative Cloud for the semester. So it's helped a lot being able to have all those tools to be able to explore. Because normally like the Adobe software is kind of expensive, but having it for free for like a few months like definitely helps able to look into what video production is like and how it works. And I think that's definitely helped.
Made, something you said that I thought was interesting in terms of how this is giving you a new perspective on events in the world. Uh, how do you consider that to be an important component in developing as an artist?
Uh, it's very important to me. Like, I just want like the world to see my vision as I am right now, like making this video, like just making sure that people know what's happening in the world with my vision, my own vision. That's all I'm trying to do.
Well, you do have a very interesting background. Would you like to share that with our viewing audience?
Yes. Since I was young, I always want to be on TV, man. Like I grew up in like poor village in Bali, Indonesia. There's like 3 days flight from America, and then I came here as eighth. Oh no, no, what was fifth grade with no English at all. And then I got stayed back because of the ESL, the English program. I got stayed back 1 year, and then move on to fifth grade. From there on, this is one like since I live in America, why might as well making the American dream. That's what I'm
Now,
trying.
Tyler, I'm interested in your perspective on how you view Medei's story in today's environment, in which there's this cross current of views in terms of how this great melting pot is supposed to operate.
I think it's very important how he what's the word, how he kind of plays into it, because I think a lot of how Mate says that he wants to kind of get like the news of the world and just everything. I think it's big that he has a story like that because it's hard. I feel like a lot of people's problems today when it comes to just like very social views is just raised how they're raised to see things. And I think they don't see what it's like to live like that, to grow up in like a poor area, to come to a new country with no knowledge of that language. I think having that mindset really helps like a news creator to kind of open their views.
I think that's a very interesting take, Tyler. I think your generation has an opportunity through social media to possibly shed the light on these types of narratives so that people get a broader perspective on the world around them. I hope you guys consider the opportunities that you have to make a statement, to make a difference in the world, because we do need young lights to shine. so that we can learn from some of our past experiences. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all striving, hopefully, to make the world a better place.
Right.
But I
Absolutely.
want you to talk a little bit too about, you know, your mentors, your teachers, your guidance counselors, in the part that they're playing in helping you put all this together.
Miss Laura, if you're watching this, I just want to say, me and Taj want to say thank you
Yeah.
for all the information you gave us, you taught us. It was helpful a lot.
Oh yeah. We couldn't have done it without her.
Exactly. And second part is YouTube played a big role in this part. YouTube is like, because like without YouTube, my editing skill wouldn't be matched at all this day. Wouldn't be at all matched. And then I was thankful that we have technology right now and the great teacher that we have who is still teaching perfectly in this condition. That's crazy, but
Yeah.
we are.
And also Miss Versus, our principal that we interviewed in the video, she was a big help. She was before we started recording the interview, you could tell she was just very excited that we were doing this and that we chose to do something on the school, because she's working real hard to kind of get this whole new school moving.
Definitely.
So as far as your postgraduate plans, what are you looking at, Tyler?
I was accepted into University of Massachusetts, Boston. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that's my first choice, so I was really excited about that. I'm not 100% sure yet where the next few years are really going to go. I applied to major in computer science, like I said, because I've just been interested in computers and technology for as long as I can remember. It's my favorite thing to do. So yeah, I plan to go out to Boston and hopefully get to work with computers.
Well, keep your eyes and ears open. I think there might be some stuff on the horizon for you.
I will.
Bidet, what are you looking at?
Currently, one of my favorite teachers, Mr. Legier, who is an art teacher, told me that I should take a break from college due to the current condition and then do it next year. And my plan is trying to go to Northwestern for 2 years and then move on from there to try to do like either theater production and business and of course art as in fashion. That's it.
Well, the president at Northwestern is a good friend of mine, Mr. Mike Rook.
Right.
I think you're going to get a quality education at Northwestern Community College.
Yes.
And I think you're going to be finding yourself with opportunities to develop your artistic skills, and laying this groundwork with Tyler, working on his computer skills. I think the sky's the limit for you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we want to hear more from you guys. Please stay in touch. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Campanelli,
It's about that time.
Dave Fahar, on fire. We appreciate them taking time out of their schedule to talk to us today on City Views.
My name is Mari.
My name is Tyler.
And we are with Fox 61 Student News.
Torrington has voted on a new bill this past election day to build a brand new high school right on top of the grounds of the old high school.
What are your thoughts on the new school project?
Just so incredibly excited, and I'm lucky enough that I live in Torrington that I can be on the building committee. Mm-hmm. So we have already hired our architectural firm. We've already hired the project, it's called the owner's rep, and they kind of are the mediator between the schools, the construction companies, the architect, and it's just so incredibly excited what we could possibly and will offer the kids and the teachers, and it's just going to be such a great addition to Torrington.
The new school project will cost Torrington approximately about $160 million with state share of $74.6 million. However, repairing the old school is way cheaper for Torrington, costing about $112.2 million with a state share of $78 million.
KHS has been approximately 60 years old, and with all the memories and history that left behind, why should KHS build a new school instead of repairing an old school?
Sure, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is that how education has shifted, and yet the building and the resources in the building haven't shifted with education and the world around us. So we, have the opportunity to just build this incredible school for the kids, and it's really all about you guys.
Right, yeah.
This building, there has been a ton of research done on how much it would cost to renovate this building, and it's actually going to cost more to renovate than to build a new building. So that's another huge factor.
Right, yeah.
In conclusion, building the new school will save Torrington about $4 million in state share.
So, are you going to miss the old building then?
Absolutely. I mean, I will absolutely miss the old building. I know that we will do our best to bring in that rich history and some of the artifacts from this building into the other building. The T is definitely going to be a central piece of that new building. So we will be very mindful of that, and actually would love to take feedback from the students, and the alumni on what we should keep and what we should make sure goes into the new building.
What are your thoughts on the new school project?
I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited for the town of Torrington, for the students, for the upcoming students, for the alumni. As a past alumni, it's going to be very hard to see this building go, to be honest with you. I went to school here back in 1995. A lot of great memories, but I am excited. I'm pumped. I know a lot of alumni that are pumped to see the new school come in and get built and have a lot of pride. And see that pride be instilled in the building with the choices, the kind of choices that are going to be new to the students coming in. And it's going to be innovative. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be very exciting. Kids are excited. Staff is excited.
Even though they just can't change the past, but they just can't change the future. The new school. This is my day on Fox 61 Student News.
We want to talk about the drum a little bit, then we're going to try to invite you in to play the drums with us. This is a community effort. So we have some instruments over here. We're talking about a sense of community. This is a diverse group, and it's a very spiritual thing to play together, to come together and to just to hit the drums. It's therapeutic. When I'm beating on them drums, it's very therapeutic for me sometimes. African Drum Center on Communication and Dance. From the beginning around 500 AD, drums throughout the African continent were used to communicate from one village to another, to create a sense of community among members of a tribe. So we're going to create a sense of community among ourselves today, because we're going to play together. And you don't have to be no master drummer to play. Just hit the drum. Whatever the spirit leads you and however you feel, just play it. And to give everyone something to dance to, the drum has come to symbolize Africa itself. Known as the oldest instrument in the world, the drum is sacred and revered in African culture. For centuries, the drum was a primary source of information despite attempts to silence it. By way of Cuba, Puerto Rico. In Africa, the drum was used at ceremonies to pay homage to the Creator, to herald the homecoming of a loved one, to spark courtships, to announce marriages and birth, to accompany religious rites and individual rituals, to herald political and social events, the onset of war, trying for battle, to announce emergency gatherings. So whenever something happens, they were playing the drums, countless drums within the African continent. Tall drums, high-pitched drums, wider drums. I played the djembe, and it's the drum of choice of many street drummers, and it has various sounds. Gained popularity as an instrument in modern music because of its versatility. As you're gonna see, we're gonna play it, and we're gonna be hitting some high sounds, we're gonna hit some low sounds, we're just gonna be beating on it, but we want you to enter in with us. Slavery brought the African drums to the Caribbean and to America, so and the music and storytelling accompanied by the playing of the drums. Slave holders recognized the power of the drum to unite the slaves. We're going to use the power of the drum today to unite us, to bring us together as a community, as this little diverse community. And like I said, you don't have to be no expert drummer, just beat. Fear and the slaves might use drums to organize and rebel, but the thing of it is you can't keep a good drummer down. The slaves kept their rhythms alive by beating on their chests, beating on their thighs, beating on their knees, and clapping their hands. They created makeshift drums, beating on all cans, beating on containers, beating on boxes and cans. African drumming ultimately emerged victorious. It may be because African culture survived the transatlantic slave drive and attempts by slave owners to ban them. The drum, the reasons they are so popular today and enjoy worldwide popularity. So we're going to do some freedom drumming. We're going to all enter in, and we're going to get on these drums and come on up and grab a hold of one of the instruments, whatever you can get your hands to play with, and play with us for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Come on, come on. Who wants the sticks? Claves. Y'all sound so good, so good. Coming together playing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'd like to thank Wes for playing along with us.
It's about that time.
On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, it just really thrills me to be able to have this conversation with an old friend and colleague. Jessica, this is a very timely conversation.
It's true. Yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah, and but I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Jessica, and let you talk to our audience a little bit about your work at the Torrington Library, and some of the perspectives that you have in being a vital part of keeping this community girded going forward.
Great. Well, thanks, Jock. That's a great introduction. Thanks for having me on. I'm thrilled. I thought you were going to try to pronounce my last name there, and that's why I said good luck, because it's a toughie. But no, it's, Jacques, I mean, we've known each other for such a long time, and I've now been director through a renovation project and having children, and now a pandemic. So I feel like I've covered a lot of ground in my 5 years as director, and I keep saying, well, what else is going to be next? And I'm a little afraid of that answer. But I think, like everybody, when the pandemic first hit, we did what most businesses did. We closed up shop physically in our physical building. We wanted to make sure everybody was safe. We sent everybody home. We kept ourselves open virtually. All of a sudden, we really had to just shift gears and go, okay, our building is closed, but that doesn't mean we have to be closed. We can offer a lot of viable solutions from people's homes. So we immediately started working from home, all of us. So that was kind of our initial reaction. And then we just, once we could open again, we said, okay, how do we do it safely? How do we do it responsibly? We had, you have a volume from the governor this thick of everything you have to do. And so it was a whirlwind. It was definitely a whirlwind. And I say that my staff adjusted to a new normal very, very quickly. And a new normal for us is, regular hours. We're here our Monday through Saturday. We have our entire stack open for browsing. So you can come in, look at the books, check out books. We ask you to return them outside just because we are quarantining books for 72 hours and all of our materials. DVDs are available, audiobooks. We just opened up all of our public access stations again, computer stations. So that was huge because a lot of people didn't have internet access when we were shut down. And we had opened up a few stations at a time, and then slowly, as we put more social distancing measures in place, we were able to open them up fully. And so that's a normal day for us. And we're back up to seeing probably about 120, 130 people a day. Pre-pandemic, we would range anywhere from 250 to 300. So we consider ourselves a little slow. But on the flip side, we also do curbside pickup now. So a lot of people are calling us and placing holds. We fulfill the holds, and then we just run them out to your car to you. And I think January alone, my numbers so far have been about 200 actual requests and I think it was about 450 items circulated just through curbside. So that's where we're at.
How do you take in consideration the fact that the library role over the next, let's just say 5 years, what part that's going to play in the overall educational scheme in the community?
So libraries are constantly evolving and changing, and that's the one thing, is we are not a static organization, and we are constantly trying to monitor what the temperature of our community is. So if we find that we have, let's say, a struggling education system, we're going to say, okay, where can we fill the gap? We know that in Torrington, there tends to be an issue with children not reaching, let's say, their reading levels by third grade, which is pivotal in education and in educational metrics. So we step in and we go, okay, we can't necessarily fix a problem. However, we can offer resources that will help at least to alleviate the problem and give people an opportunity to help themselves within the situation. So we recently just received a grant through the Community Foundation to offer an early literacy program that is wonderful. It's going to launch February 1st, and then the registration for it launches February 1st. The program begins March 1st, and it's basically encouraging and giving early readers and their parents the tools they need to succeed. So those are small ways that we can help out. Other ways is that we try to offer as many free resources as we can to the community. So we know oftentimes there are people who go, oh, I would love to be able to take a class on Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. It would really help me with my business. It would help me in terms of professional development. But if you go to actually take those classes, let's say at a college or given by an in-person instructor, they can be pricey. And a lot of people can't afford that. So we subscribe to a really wonderful service called lynda.com, and it offers about 30,000 different courses. And you can take it for free. It tracks your course hours. It's very interactive. And it offers everything from photography classes to the Microsoft Suite classes to management classes. I know quite a few professionals in town who know this isn't an accredited program. So you're not going to get college credit towards a degree, but who use it to just brush up their skills. And they go, oh, you know, we love that management class that spoke about how to handle, you know, maybe a difficult employee or how to handle HR questions better. So we offer a lot of free classes like that, which is great. Our programming oftentimes is kind of divvied up between fun, great programming. You know, it's just kind of something to take your mind off the current world. We have a lot of those. And then we also try to balance that out with programming that is educational as well, but that's fun educational. So that, you know, for example, we had a dog listener last night who spoke to you about training your dog. So if you're going to go and actually take a dog training class, or you're going to bring your dog to doggy daycare, you know, it could cost you quite a bit of money. But with, you know, our 1 hour, 2 hour class, a lot of people got some really great tips that were free. So we always try to find that balance. And then obviously for the kiddos, our children's librarian, Sue, is always thinking of fun, different, creative programming that tricks them into learning so they don't know they're learning because they're having so much fun. But at the end of the day, you really know that they're getting it. They're picking up on something special. So those are our little ways that we can help. We also provide internet access, free Wi-Fi. I can't tell you, it's tax season now, so my girls are going nuts out there trying to help people print tax forms and get the right tax forms. We're not accountants. We cannot do your taxes for you, much to their dismay, but we'll help you get the forms. We'll direct you where to go. So it's all of those things tied in that help us contribute, hopefully, to a stronger community in the long run.
Talk a little bit too, Jessica, about when you're talking about collaborations and whatnot, about the Torrington Library and its historical place in the community and the programs and activities that you do around that.
So the library has been in town. It was formed in 1864, so we've been here over 150 years. We've been in our current home. It's, you know, the big marble gorgeous building on Cookin Place. Since 1901. So we have some roots here. We've seen a lot and we've been here for quite some time. And what I thought was really interesting, we started to look back at our history. And we have these wonderful old ledgers back to 1864 when the library was formed. And they have a ton of Post-it notes in them. So you know, when was this pipe replaced? When was that done? When was this done? But one thing that we found recently was a mention about the 1918 flu pandemic and how the library was affected during what was really the first pandemic of our time as a library organization. And they did exactly what we're doing now. They closed their doors for a little bit, made sure everything was safe, and opened back up. And that was 100 years ago. So we used the phrase, you know, we got you through the first pandemic, we'll get you through this one too. And it was really true. So we have deep roots in Torrington. We understand the culture. We understand the challenges that Torrington faces as an evolving city, you know, the transition from a really working class factory town now into an arts community and what that means to your population, and then how you have to adjust your services as a library to you know, meet certain needs. We understand that we're now considered a distressed municipality by the state of Connecticut. So what does that mean in terms of socioeconomic equity of gaining access to materials, and how do we provide that equal and fair access to everybody. I know that's kind of shop talk in library land, but that's where it is. It's a little shop talk, but that's where we're at, and we're no different than every other library too. We all have these conversations very frequently of how do we shift our own goals to meet those of our community, because if nobody comes in our building, there's no point in us being here. So how do we really draw in the largest amount of people and try to serve everybody, because we don't have an audience.
Jessica, I can tell you from firsthand knowledge, people who have used the library as a stepping stone to greater endeavors. So that consistent presence there and the upgrade in services, outreach services, it's going to affect somebody. And
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's important to recognize that, and as a community organization, provide those avenues. So it's just another testament to you and the people that you work with, and on your staff and your management team there, and the fact that Torrington is becoming a progressive community. And I think in the case of having the prior information to access on how to possibly deal with this pandemic 100 years later is a testament to the what's coming more to the forefront in terms of the roots of Torrington. And I think if people understood a little more clearly why a library can be a functional component of a functioning community, then I think people will understand what a greater sense of community is all about.
Yes. And one of our roles is obviously to disseminate information to the best of our ability. We always say in library world, we don't pick sides when we disseminate information, but we do give you the resources in order to make up your mind on certain situations.
Before we begin to close, talk to our audience a little bit about your philosophy on the arts and why it's important now, and what role that perspective plays in your programming.
So I think we just kind of went through a little bit of a period, especially with COVID, where we were without the arts for a while. And the one thing that I think, I heard this phrase, and I can't speak to who said it, but it said, without the arts, there is a lack of joy in a lot of places. And I kind of felt like we were missing that joy of going to a live performance, of going out to eat beforehand, of being able to go to an art gallery, or even just see a performance. Everything was just paused, and people were really joyless. So we said to ourselves, yes, we can do the educational programming, which is really important and has a really important role. But you know what? Let's just do really fun stuff too. We just had a program that was all about underground New York. I had 120 people registered via Zoom and 100 people on a wait list, because my Zoom account wouldn't hold over 120 people. And everybody just said, oh my gosh, this was so fun. So I think that's what our goal in programming is let's just make it fun right now. So we made a point to try to highlight all of these different things, because people just needed to be happy again, and they needed something to look forward to. And so for us, when we have people saying, oh, we love that program, oh my gosh, it was so much fun, we just had a ball, we're like, mission accomplished, job done, we're thrilled.
Jessica, I can't tell you how fun this conversation was with you.
I know, and I haven't seen you in ages. It's been fun.
Well, obviously, you've been hard at work, being one of the pillars of the community and putting your best foot forward to make Torrington be the best that it can be.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I have a lot of really, really, well, my staff is beyond incredible. They just, keep me sane. And then looking at all the other organizations in town, they just, they knock it out of the park every time they try something. So, I'm in really, really good company with some absolutely incredible people in town. So it's a good place. It's a good seat at the table. It's a fun place to
Well,
be.
Jessica, I can't tell you my time here in Torrington, the relationships I've been able to build with your family, you go way back, and it's that's part of what makes Torrington the special place that it is, because it's the people in the community that make the community.
It totally is. It totally is. I'm a Torrington girl, born, bred, and raised, and everybody knows my dad. Everybody knows my folks, and can't get away with anything because of it. But no, it's a great place. I love it.
Well, we hope to definitely have some more conversations with you in the future. Yes. Definitely keep us posted on the great things that you're doing at the Torrington Library, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. We want to welcome you to our segment with 65th District State Rep Michelle Cook, entitled What's Cookin'? And we're bringing this broadcast to you today under some very, very adverse weather conditions. As you see, I have my hat here that I'm adorned with. But this is going to be a very interesting conversation with Michelle today, because the weather has a direct effect on her job and how she responds to her constituents. So, without further ado, I introduce to you my good friend, 65th State District Rep, Michelle Cook. Hello, Michelle.
How are you? Nice to see you. Oh, it's going. It's windy, cold, and under the watch of Storm Cooper. But, things are going all right. How about yourself? I mean, I'm glad that we actually have internet to work with today.
Oh, my goodness. I was out earlier today, and I thought that I would, take care of some last minute errands before, we get hit with the bulk of the snow. So I'm making my rounds to the bank, not realizing that the banks are observing President's Day today. Needless to say, that put a dent in my plans. I had to slumber back home. Of course, I was able to get my workout, and thankfully so, because I get to the gym. I get the first part of my workout in, and the attendant calmly walks up to me and says, "Excuse me, Jacques, but we're closing the gym early today." So at least I got, a third of my workout in and got back here, and now we are experiencing the impact of Storm Cooper.
I think that it's important for us to give a huge shout out to those folks that are still working, the folks that are trying to keep our roads, cleared off. So if we do need to go out, people, if they're out working or delivering, or the ones that are at the grocery store or anywhere else, first responders and the like, huge shout out to them, because they don't really get to take a day off, and we rely on them to be where we need to be, where they need to be all the time. So a huge, huge shout out to all of those folks that are doing their job.
Absolutely. And as we discuss some of the preparations and precautions for a storm of this nature, I know that puts you in quite an interesting situation, as I'm sure that you'll be getting some calls as to how people are being impacted by this.
We do. You mean, I would say that right now, especially given the fact that we're still in the middle of a pandemic and people are trying to get their vaccinations and things like that, that's really the crux of the calls today or yesterday. Will the vaccination sites be still running? Will I still be able to get tested if I need to be tested? But other than that, I think that people recognize, again, that, our building is closed, but people can obviously still reach me via email or phone or what have you. But I believe that people kind of, they recognize that if the storms are the way that they are, God forbid something goes crazy. And right now, knock on wood, we all, we still have all of our electricity and everything like that. And if that goes, God forbid, then that's when things start happening and people start panicking and they're, because you don't want people to be without electricity, especially given the frigid temperatures that we are in. You want people to be able to stay warm and safe. So that would be when the calls really start to roll in, is when the power starts to go out. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that we make it through this one, that with everybody keeping the power that they have.
And I think too, Michelle, that kind of lends itself to the fact that maybe people don't always understand exactly what your job entails. I try to tell people that it's like Michelle's job, whether you want to think of it in these terms, it's a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, 365-day a year job.
It is.
You don't know in the morning when you wake up what you're going to be responding to. You just have to be ready to respond.
And that's true. I mean, we would have our traditional legislative responsibilities, whether it be committee work or, certain constituent, things that we need to do, whether there's a business that needs some help, or you fill in the blank. We would have those, those various things that would already be lined up in your calendar accordingly, whether it be phone calls, meetings, responses, you fill in the blank. But there again, something like a storm that happens, or we have COVID that happens, and, or any other catastrophe or emergency or the like, and then that changes the game for my job to how can I advocate, how can I assist, what can I do for you to make sure that you are safe and healthy and in the way of which you need to be comfortable dealing with whatever adverse effects that we're dealing with. Sometimes it's just a matter of finding somebody a phone number and connecting them with somebody else that they might not know how to reach out to. Right now, a lot of it is social media and trying to make sure that we keep in touch with people as much as we can every day, as best we can, with the information that they feel is vitally important. And responsiveness is extremely on the top mark of this job. People need to know that they can count on the person that they entrusted to be their voice in Hartford, whether that be local, state, or federal issues. And if I'm not the one that can help them with whatever the issue is, it's my job to help find the person that can.
And your job not only entails responding to emergencies and things of that nature, but as we witnessed over the weekend, it also entails recognizing special things that happen in our community. And this Saturday, you had an opportunity to recognize a new business in our community, which I'm very excited to support and to see develop. Talk to our audience a little bit about that situation.
We've all seen the old historic firehouse on Water Street sit there for many, many, many years and wondering what was going to happen with it. And as we've seen over the last, several months, there had been great happenings. And I think that people started really getting excited when they saw those incredible doors go up on the outside facing Water Street. And you knew something big was happening on the inside just by the statement that those doors make on the outside. And so we obviously, and you were there as well, I was able to recognize the Bad Dog Brewing Company on Water Street, a family-owned business, owned and operated, with their grand opening, ribbon cutting, and handing them a state citation for their recognition of the grand opening and wishing them well and great success. And I will tell you, the folks that were there on Saturday, I don't think that there was a table empty when I left. And, it's a great thing. And you look around and all the different communities that have, a brewery popping up or this popping up or that popping up. It's Torrington's time to have a brewery, and it's very, very exciting. So I'm not a beer drinker, so I don't win out of that deal. But I just think that by having a historical place there that has tons of history in our community for generations, and having a family that saw and had a vision And it was really fun to listen to Matt's story about how he decided to brew beer. And it was because he got one of those small brew making kits about a year and a half ago. And that's what started his vision to this. And they took a leap as a family, and here we are. And it's incredible. I encourage everybody, if you don't drink beer and you don't drink wine, because they've partnered with the Sunset Vineyards from the Goshen area up there. They have soda from Avery, so it's all local stuff, all Connecticut products, and they're partnering with the food trucks. And Saturday for the opening, we had Singing Sliders. It's a local guy right here in town. My understanding was yesterday they had crepe truck, which I would have gone just for the crepes, but my day got away from me. So I encourage people to stop in, introduce yourself, let them know that you're thankful that there's a new business in town, and show them our warm welcome that Torrington residents know how to do.
I hope it sets the groundwork too for other small businesses to consider bringing their business to Torrington, because it's kind of lending itself to the paradigm of buying low and selling high. Torrington, as like many other towns across the state, across the nation, we're rebuilding.
Right. Well, I mean, you look, the Social House switched hands during the coronavirus.
Yeah.
We have the Nutmeg Fudgery that is opening up. I mean, she test marketed during the Christmas time, and now she's over where Hatfields used to be. And so we understand that we lost a jewelry store with Hatfields, but we see a new business coming in. And I think that that's what we need to, welcome. We need to recognize that people are taking a chance on us, and we really need to support them if we have the ability and the means to do that. And if that means stopping by and saying hello, or, stopping in and buying a piece of fudge, or, grabbing a drink, or whatever you can do, every little bit helps. But people need to know that the community that they're taking a chance with will support them. We've always been based and founded on small businesses, and Main Street is where things have happened for generations. And I think that that's what we're seeing continuously, that we need to continue to support those small businesses, those Main Street stores, the mom and pops, or the inventive risk taker that's really going to get in there and say, you want to know what, I have a vision, and this is what I want to do. From that little kit of brew making to opening a brewery, that's awesome. And we need to continue to work on that.
I think too, people need to understand that, what you're saying is not just lip service. Through our government relations committee, we are listening to the small business community, especially now, and we are including some of those issues that small businesses are facing currently during the coronavirus, to make sure that their concerns are on the legislative agenda, and that you guys are listening to the residents here in the Northwest corner.
Right. I mean, and it starts through the pandemic and beyond, right? So we recognize that businesses have been struggling, and today we just got a message that we're going to be allowing businesses to open, and they've extended the curfew now to 11 o'clock p.m. It was 9:30, then it was 10, 10, now we're going to go to 11. And it's the little things. But I also think that throughout this pandemic, we've learned some of the things that the governor has been able to do through the executive orders that are things that we need to continue with. I know that you've heard that conversation about streamlining the processes for paperwork and the like, partnering with private companies to do public business, and, just fill in the blank. I think that there's things that we've learned throughout this pandemic to help us do business differently in the state, more efficient for business owners, and how can we continue to maintain that? And that doesn't mean just business owners. That means constituents as well. And we've given people the opportunity to stay home and do telemedicine with their doctor, so they can still be safe, but still maintain a medical relationship with their provider. That's something we need to continue. And all of these things that we have learned are beneficial coming out of a pandemic. And we continue to hear those, not only through government relations, but through the constituents as well. and letting us know, hey, we really appreciate this change. Can we continue to maintain it even past the pandemic, whenever that might be?
Well, Michelle, I think that with that being said, the residents of not only Torrington and Northwest Corner, but the residents of the state can look forward to a little relief from the federal government in the tune of $1 billion that's going to be administered to the state to help deal with the impact from the coronavirus. Before we wrap up our conversation, Michelle, can you talk a little bit about how that relief is going to benefit the residents of our region?
Well, I'm extremely excited about the little over $2 million, almost $3 million that the Board of Education is going to be receiving through the CARES Act. And we will be able to not necessarily use that on staff, if you will, but use that on a variety of different things to help us continue to move forward with our educational purposes for our students. We know that they have been really struggling during the pandemic, and, you know, educating virtually is very difficult for some. It doesn't work for everybody. And then there's a social emotional piece. And so I'm really excited about that almost $3 million that we're getting there. You know, we've done things here through the pandemic, and the municipalities have the opportunity to submit all of the things that they have expended, you know, money that they've spent on pandemic response, to be able to be reimbursed for that. And then what else you might need. And I think that those are forever changing needs and wants. And so as we get the money and it comes to the state, then that'll be trickled down accordingly. And I think that a lot of it is going to be still planned out as we move forward. But we also know too, look, we need to have vaccination response. We need to be able to get the vaccine in as many people as we can, as fast as we can. We are leading the charge, making sure that our nursing home residents and staff and first responders are all vaccinated. That's a huge feat, and we are doing it right. We're one of the top states in the country with our rollout on the vaccines. We know it's not perfect, but very few things are perfect, but we're getting there. And so, you know, some of that money is going to be able to help with that too. We know that we're just getting an increase in vaccinations, but what we were promised from the federal government a couple of months ago did not come to fruition, but we are moving forward with 50,000 more doses regularly now. And hopefully that continues to build as we move along. It's going to come in the manner of more PPE. It'll come in the manner of business assistance. I know that we had some small businesses. I was in a couple of different restaurants over the last couple of weeks, and they said, please tell the governor I said thank you for the check that I just received. It is things like that. We have $5,000 grants that are being offered out. It's the little things that are going to make people just a little bit more comfortable trying to continue to survive. We also recognize that we still have a good amount of people that are unemployed. And so by helping them as well, and then waiting for that federal stimulus that's supposed to be coming down, hopefully in the next few weeks, if they can get all of those things organized, and that'd be a little bit more assistance for families that are still struggling. And then trying to make sure that people that were left off in the prior two stimulus packages, like our college students, are not left off this time. All of that really, it really adds up and helps people tremendously. And even the smallest makes the biggest difference. So from all of our nonprofits, and, you know, for our nonprofits, education, first responders, medical professionals, business owners, and the like, I think that the CARES Act and the money that we've received from the federal government down, I'm really hoping has been able to help at least every household in one way, shape, or form.
Well, Michelle, you're getting pretty good with this, and I think that's the perfect note to end the show on.
Well, okay then.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure each and every week to bring you our conversation with 65th State District Rep Michelle Cook on our segment, What's Cooking? We'll see you guys soon. Don't forget to check out all of our episodes on our YouTube channel at CityViews-CT, or check out the best in news, arts, and culture on our website, cityviews-ct.com. On behalf of the staff and production team at City Views, we bid you a farewell, and we'll see you back for more right here on City Views.